Hi, Jester Bell here, female Frodo Baggins, and sometimes I get questions from people asking me why I do so many negative reviews for movies and shows and things. Well, that's because there isn't a lot out there that's positive to review. Yesterday, I watched Jurassic World Rebirth, and I didn't expect it to be good, no. But so nothing could have prepared me for the steaming, reeking pile of garbage that the movie was. Just the pain that made me feel like I was going through the meat grinder. Guys, oh boy. How am I going to do this review without saying the same things that I've always said to get you to understand what this movie is like? Well, I can tell you that I thought during the movie, again, I just thought this is the worst movie I've ever seen, which I've thought that about a lot of movies that I've seen over the past 2 years, and perhaps it isn't the worst, but when I came out of it, I'm like, this is rock bottom. We have reached rock bottom in the history of cinema. In the over a century that cinema has existed, we have never been lower than this point. We've never been lower. We've never had it like most consistently, where nearly every movie that I see that's supposed to be a mainstream release is just the worst pile of garbage that you've ever seen. And they can't get anything right. And listen, it's okay. It's okay. Like, sometimes you watch a bad movie and it's fun. But it's only fun to watch a bad movie that's so bad it's hilarious, and this definitely was. But if that it's fine, it's fun. But when all the movies you're watching are this bad, it's not fun anymore. It's just not. This industry is lost. And I doubt that it is ever going to come back. We are going to need to build up our own studios and our own films, which is what I want to do and where I want to lead to with this channel in order to create anything good, because this is how bad it has gotten. Now, before I get into reviewing this film, and I gotta say, my opinions align with audiences. This has the worst score for a Jurassic movie ever. Even worse than Jurassic World Dominion, which ended destroying the entire point of Jurassic Park, which was supposed to be that dinosaurs coming back to life would be a good thing, and then it has everybody living with dinosaurs across the college campuses. This is getting lambasted by everyone, so that's good. But I just want to do, before I get into this video and review, if you want to take your family to a movie this 4th of July weekend, if you want to go see a movie, please, I implore you, go see F1. It's made by the director of Top Gun Maverick. It's a Top Gun Maverick light story. There's some great racing sequences in it. It has just such an uplifting ending, and it relies on the traditional beats of storytelling and character work that make everything work. Unlike this movie. So that is my plug for F1. Go see that movie, please. And support people who want to open their own studios to do stuff apart from this stuff. Anyway, let us get in to Jurassic World Rebirth, a steaming pile of dino dung. Okay, so the opening sequence in this movie that you just know that you're in for a treat is they're in a lab, and there's a character eating a Snickers bar, and he throws away that Snickers wrapper, and then a gust of wind picks up that Snickers wrapper, and it flies through the air, and it gets into like a door vent or something. It gets jammed in there, and that makes the entire lab go haywire, and some guy gets stuck in there and gets eaten by one of the dinosaur experiments. So all because of a Snickers wrapper. So that is how this movie begins, and you just know that you're in for a treat. But at least that was funny, right? At least that was some entertainment from there. Then we get into what felt like years. It felt like this was 2 hours long. My dad, who was there with me, unfortunately for him, he timed it. And what happened next is you get mostly dialogue scenes for the next 30 minutes, just dialogues between characters that you are not gonna care about at all. But what the dialogue establishes is that no one cares about dinosaurs anymore. It retcons Jurassic World Dominion, and it claims that hey guys, it wasn't a big deal after all that they came and were living among them, because the dinosaurs all got sick and have pretty much died out anyway, except for a select amount that went and lived on the equator. So they just got rid of the ending of Jurassic World Dominion. And it's like, great, that's what we do now. When we're continuously milking franchises to death, we just rewrite the last thing so that it's convenient for what we're doing now. But in this massively long dialogue, we basically get a group of people together to go onto one of those islands that the dinosaurs has conglomerated on the equator, in order to get some DNA from them, in order to make medicine from it, apparently. It doesn't matter. They just want to get people on that island. And so we get introduced to these characters, and there's this sequence where they're trying to get the guy, who is it, Jonathan Bailey? They're trying to get him to come on board, but they intersplice some very odd humor. The humor in this movie is terrible. There's a scene when he's like, I gotta think about coming, and they just take like 2 minutes, and the joke is that the guy takes out like a breath mint and is chewing on it, and he's chewing really loudly, and they're awkwardly staring at him, and he just continues to chew on it, and that's the joke, and that's the kind of humor of this movie. So, like I said, there's like a half hour of talking, and they get on a boat, and they're just talking, and Scarlett Johansson gets into a room with Mahershala Ali, and is catching up with him, and is like, oh, my mom died, and he's like, I got divorced, and it's just this huge sequence of them talking about their personal lives. Will any of this be relevant going forward? No. Do we care about any of this? No, but there you have it. It's just a really long sequence of these two characters you do not care about, talking about their personal lives. And this is one of the big problems that monster movies have, is that they have a hard time getting people to care about the characters, because what they do is they create separate story arcs for them that have nothing to do with the main plot, and they expect us to care about these generic subplots that have nothing to do with the main plot. This has that in spades, but what I would say is the crux of one of the biggest problems with this movie is that it shoves in so many characters and so many subplots that get brought up and go nowhere, and things that have no effect on the plot. And it spends, like, once again, the first 30 minutes, they don't even get to the island. It's just all of this talking. So you've got this group of people who's going to go to the island, led by Scarlett Johansson, who you do not care about and have scarcely a relevance, like, in terms of their character development. They don't get much character development, but, like, stuff like, we're going to talk about how this guy got divorced and how Scarlett Johansson's mom is dead. It has zero relevance to the story. But because the movie had so many characters already that it could not develop in a compelling way or that fit with the story, guess what the movie decides to do? It decides to introduce even more characters that are completely unrelated to each other and unrelated to the story. So what we do is we meet this family, this Mexican family, on a boat that get attacked by a mosasaur and get rescued by the team led by Scarlett Johansson, and eventually they all crash land on the island, but they're separated from the family. So you've got the team that is there to extract DNA on the island, and the Mexican family that have wound up on two separate places on the island. So you have two plots now. You've got the Mexican family that's trying to survive the island, and you've got the research people trying to survive the island. And I wouldn't even call it, like, yes, it's a subplot, but it felt like two different things. Like, they have no relation to each other whatsoever. It was so jarring. It was like two movies at the same time going on. And once again, meaningless subplots. The only thing that they do with the family is they act like there's going to be some sort of plot, like the dad is not getting along with his daughter's boyfriend and doesn't understand what she sees in him. And then the boyfriend saves the daughter, but the boyfriend is still, just this awful guy talking about weed and just a stupid idiot, and he's kind of gross. And there's one scene where the dad thanks him for saving the daughter and says, don't see so little in yourself. You got to be the one to build yourself up. And he says, I don't know what your daughter sees in me. And you think, okay, this has nothing to do with the dinosaur plot, but is it some sort of subplot? Does it go somewhere? No, that is the end of it. They act like it's going to be some sort of plot about the boyfriend proving himself or something. We never get any more of that. He remains gross throughout the movie, and that's it. So they introduce a lot of these subplots and a lot of these facts about characters, but they go nowhere. And I'm like, why in this dinosaur movie did you introduce so many characters with so many meaningless subplots and character points that go nowhere? It's like for so much of the movie, we weren't even seeing the dinosaurs. As for the rest of the characters in this movie, guys, Scarlett Johansson cannot act. At least she can't act anymore. Ever since that Black Widow movie where it started, but really it started in Avengers Endgame, she's just been playing herself. And that is what she is in this movie. No! And she is so bad. That is what we all said when we were leaving. Scarlett Johansson is so bad in this movie. She is not convincing as this, like, this bad woman who can just shoots up dinosaurs and she can just take control. She is not convincing at all in this movie. Her personality is really off. Like, as people die in this movie, she's still like this really jokey, happy personality. I guess like the way Scarlett Johansson would be on set. But she was so bad in this movie. She was just playing herself. She was not convincing as whatever character she was trying to play. She was not convincing in this role. She was so bad when it came to like acting against Mahershala Ali, not Blade. Sorry, too soon. And Jonathan, I keep blanking on his last name. Like, they were like giving Oscar level performances compared to her. She was so bad. And it's like she's really trying to rebrand herself as she's getting into a different stage on her career, but it's not working. You have to actually act if you're going to get into a different stage in your career, or you're not going to create a new brand for yourself. Scarlett was so bad in this movie. Like, there have been people who've accused her of not being able to act before, and I always defended her, but at least now, like, she is not giving good performances. But then, of course, there is the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs that for a lot of the movie, it didn't even seem to want to use. Because, as the opening sequence suggests, like, people are done with dinosaurs in this world. They've seen too much of them. They're bored. And there's no arc with that, guys. There's one scene in the film where they all see like these sort of mutated dinosaurs in the field, and they're all looking up in awe, as Jurassic Park movies do, but there's not really an arc like for rediscovering these creatures or something beyond that. It's just nothingness. I'm like, why did you open your movie where you want to milk people's love for dinosaurs, saying that this is a world where no one cares and it's not interesting or amazing anymore, and not really have any sort of arc with that? They get on an island that's essentially, it's a lot of the mutated dinosaurs that were never used. They were made through experiments but never used in Jurassic World. And it's a bunch of OCs for dinosaurs. And I understand, here's the thing that people are going to miss, is that the original dinosaurs for the Jurassic Park films actually were not accurate to actual dinosaurs. This is actually a big thing from dinosaur historians, that a lot of people in real life don't actually understand what real dinosaurs look like because they just know them from the iconic Jurassic Park design. So I understand completely. It was already, unrealistic designs and hybrid designs to begin with. But the thing that they did so well in the early Jurassic Parks is that they were really good at building up, like, what dinosaur was what, why you should be afraid of it, and how it hunts and all of that. In this, it's just a bunch of random OCs that are thrown into the film. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they do. I don't have any attachment to them whatsoever. So it's just like a bunch of somebody's random drawings of monsters that come out through the movie, and it's not fun. Like, when we saw a Dilophosaurus in the movie and a T-Rex, like, that was fun because they're actually dinosaurs that I've recognized from previous films and that I understand what they do. But these other random OCs where I have no idea what this is or what it's supposed to do, like, that wasn't fun whatsoever. But the problem with this movie is, in all of its, Jurassic Park is always supposed to have been horror to a degree. It's action infused with science fiction and horror. But none of the scenes that they had with the dinosaurs were scary. They all came off as hilarious. For example, there's a scene where they're on the raft and this girl finds a place where a Parasaurolophus has gotten eaten or something, and she pulls out like this raft that she finds, and it's played up like it's supposed to be scary, I guess, but it comes off as a comedy. She's about to pull up on the raft. She doesn't know that there's a T-Rex sleeping beside her. The family behind her is like, no, don't do it. She pulls the raft open and it blows up, and then she pushes it over and the T-Rex is gone like a magic trick. And turns out he's just walked up and walked to another place, and there's a chase sequence. But it was hilarious. Like, my brother was laughing so hard in the theater. It was just so funny. There's another sequence with the boyfriend where he's going to the bathroom. And I'm like, I love that you have blessed us with this scene. I came to the theater. I got in my car. I came to the theater. I sat down just to see this. I love that you have done this. The boyfriend is going to the bathroom, and then two dinosaurs are about to come up and eat him from behind. And then they get attacked by another dinosaur, and then he hears the fighting. He's like, oh! And they're fighting behind him. He doesn't know what to do, and he's going to the bathroom. And then they both fly away, and then he looks behind him, and then he resumes going to the bathroom. And I'm like, I love that you did that scene. I just love this kind of filmmaking. I love that it was there. I came to see it. I'm so grateful. After this movie, I'm so grateful. But that's what I'm getting at with all of the dinosaur scenes in this movie. It just gets to be hilarious. There's some parts in this movie where it's kind of like the Hobbit movies that got so over the top with their CGI and action sequences that it just came off as funny. Like, there's a part in the movie where Jonathan's character falls off of a cliff, and you're like, oh, he's dead. He fell off of a cliff. No, he hits some palm tree branches, one after the other, and then falls into some water. So he's fine. He's good. It's just hilarious. And my brother was laughing so hard when they were screaming at the little girl to get out of the raft, and she's under the raft, and the T-Rex is coming. And the T-Rex reminded me of my cat in this movie because he was so slow. And it was crazy. It was just hilarious, but it was just this movie is so, I don't know if it's intentional or unintentionally hilarious with everything right from the beginning with the Snickers bar in the opening sequence. That is a perfect setup to this movie. I forgot to say there's a subplot where the little girl gets a pet baby dinosaur that follows her around named Dolores. Wonderful. Now, like, this is directed by Gareth Edwards, and who did Rogue One, and he did The Creator. And I don't think he's a good director because I've seen all those big blockbuster movies at this point. The Creator was like watching paint dry. And Rogue One was not good apart from the ending. And I think one of Gareth Edwards' biggest problems is he fails to get characters to be compelling. That is his biggest flaw. I couldn't care about anyone in The Creator. I couldn't care about anyone in this. Couldn't care, like Jurassic, Rogue One. Like, the reason why I think people avoided Andor is the characters were so bland and flat and you would never care about them in anything else. I just don't think that this guy is a good director that they keep hiring. I didn't mind the way the movie was shot. I'm glad that they didn't put a gray filter on anything like they did do for a lot of movies. But when I've been watching a lot of Disney stuff that just is shot so unprofessionally because it's done by TV directors who can't do theatrical experiences, then this looks great by comparison. But I don't think Gareth Edwards is good. Now, I want to circle back for a minute here because what I mentioned here is the characters and how weak they are and how there's just so many of them that didn't need to be there and their stories go nowhere. The only characters that go anywhere in relevance to the dinosaur plot is Scarlet and the Jonathan. But we'll get to that in a second. But guys, here's the thing. We're not supposed to talk about this, are we? Well, the entire internet's been talking about it, but let's talk. I had a discussion with my family about this after the movie. The thought entered my mind, but I wondered, is the reason why they shoehorned in so many characters into this movie that didn't need to be there, could it possibly be that they created their team for the movie and it was a diverse team, but then someone came in and said, there's still not enough representation for this, so they said, you need to add even more, and that's what they did, and that's why there's so many shoehorned in characters? I mean, guys, Jonathan, is it Jonathan Bailey? The character he plays, like, I can't unsee these patterns. Jonathan Bailey's playing like the lead male character, and once again, he's a very effeminate lead male character and very sensitive, because if you're going to be the male lead, that's who you are in a lot of these blockbusters. And then Scarlett Johansson is the tough lady, and then there's all this checkboxing in this movie. And so, I know I'm not naive to the fact that they have these policies behind the scenes that is demanding you to fit all these quotas. And guys, listen, there is nothing wrong with having diverse cast, diverse characters, and all of that. The problem is when the people behind the scenes are making it such quota filling that perhaps it can't be handled behind the scenes, and the movie just becomes like this, where there are a bunch of characters that don't mean anything. But it's like this movie just follows all of those patterns that people have been seeing, and the make the male lead really effeminate and make the girl really strong and all of this sort of checkboxing. I couldn't unsee it when I watched it, and I wondered if it had any effect on the writing and the pre-production behind the scenes, assuming they had a script, why they had to add all this, and it's not really coherent. But yeah, this film takes a major dump on all the Jurassic Park movies. It's amazing. Jurassic Park, the first one, is one of the greatest movies ever made. It is intelligent and it is exciting. It somehow mixes the action and the excitement with a really smart plot about human beings playing God and messing with things that they shouldn't. And yes, they became kind of low-level popcorn flicks after that, but it's just this is the lowest point, which has no respect for the franchise, because it literally opens with the line, no one cares about dinosaurs even anymore, and it abandons those original dinosaur designs that everyone came to these movies for. It makes all of the sequences with the monsters, let's just call them monsters instead of dinosaurs, it makes them hilarious instead of exciting or scary. It throws in so many characters that you do not care about whatsoever, and it has so much dialogue in the beginning and throughout that you do not care about. And also, this is what my dad referred to it as, it's very preachy, because there's this whole thing about how they're trying to get the medicine and Jonathan's character wants to bring it to the world. And this is how the movie ends, because the mustache twirling villain, and this guy who played the villain in the movie did not seem like he wanted to be there. He was bored with all of his lines, but they have a mustache twirling villain who's going to steal all of the stuff in the movie. And I keep forgetting, even more stuff just comes up for this movie. There are so many sequences, especially by the end, that are just lesser versions of sequences from the first Jurassic Park, like hiding from the velociraptors in the kitchen, or the greasy guy who's trying to steal the DNA for himself. So many things that they just copy from other movies and do them worse. And I've seen that so much this year with stuff like Brave New World and so many other movies. They just copy better movies from the past. But anyway, it ends, the guy gets killed, and Scarlett Johansson is on the raft going home, and this is how it ends. I don't care about spoiling it. Jonathan's character, Scarlett says, what do we do with this stuff? This stuff that they have to make medicine. And Jonathan says, you decide. And Scarlett smiles and looks off to the horizon and says, we give it to the world. And that's how it ends. Wonderful, wonderful filmmaking, wonderful movie. So, Jurassic World Rebirth, I don't know if I can say, I think all of them are bad. I don't know if I can say, my dad thought that this was the worst Jurassic Park ever made. It probably is. I just remember hating Dominion so much. But to watch so many bad movies in a row that are this bad made me think we are in the lowest area that filmmaking has ever been in. And it is, and I just listened because my Sister Belle, did not watch this movie, but she was hearing us talk about it, and she was like, I don't even care about studio films anymore. I just want some other people to come up and make new things. And that's what I want to do. And it's like this is the lowest point of no return, where Hollywood is just so out of touch with people and what they want and what they're making these days. And they're so incompetent with all they're making that it might not ever come back, is what I'm thinking. This is so bad. It is demoralizing. And what my dad said at the end is like, this is a race to the bottom with these summer movies. Jurassic World Rebirth is at the bottom. Can Superman and Fantastic Four be worse? I think it is certainly possible. But right now, Jurassic World Rebirth is in first place for worst movie of July. Let's see if Superman and Fantastic Four can get any worse, and I guarantee that will. But plug, want to go see a movie right now as other people are trying to get their studios going to make movies apart from Hollywood? Go see F1. Please support that original film. Thank you all for watching. If you want to support my channel, please consider becoming a patron or a member. What do you think about Jurassic World Rebirth? Do you want to go see this movie? Let me know in the comments below. I will see you guys next time.